Hello everyone. Today I'm going to do a video on ward spots. Even though I swapped to Blue Trinket relatively early on Victor, I think knowing regular ward spots, you could always use them for control wards or for regular wards no matter what role you have. It's always going to be relevant and it's always going to be important to know this information. Even for Blue Trinkets, this is still somewhat relevant information. So initially I'm going to say when you normal cast a ward, there's three different colored cursors, or three different colored outlines that your icon will have, your cursor. So see how there's no outline here? I put it in the terrain, it swaps to yellow. I think I have colorblind mode on, and I think if you don't have colorblind mode on, it'll be red. And then when it's in the brush, it's green. So obviously what these three mean is it'll be cast in the map anywhere, outside of a brush or outside of terrain, anywhere on the map. The cursor won't have a color. If it is inside terrain, you can cast it inside the terrain and it'll just snap to whatever side it's closest to. So if I cast it here, for example, it'll snap to this side. It's closer to that side, so it'll snap out there. Or if I cast it here, it'll snap out here. And then obviously in the brush means it's going to be in the brush. So first thing I'm going to show you is two wards from the Baron and Dragon Pit. So first off, to ward this bush up here, you stand in this little crevice here. You're going to put your cursor in between the brush and the rock here in this little line. And it'll go into that bush. And you can also ward this bush from here. So you're going to walk into this little crevice here. You're going to normal cast your ward, see how it goes green. The moment it stops being green, right there, I'm going to cast it and it's going to snap into the bush. There's a mechanic in the game where if you cast a ward very, very close to a bush, but it's not inside the bush, the game will just automatically put it in the bush. It's a very small distance, but it will still do that. So now I have vision of this bush. I can go down here now and show you the same thing. So from here, you stand by the waterfall, put your cursor on the center of the snail shell. You do have to have eye candy on, which is in video settings. You don't want to have hide eye candy on for this one. If you don't have eye candy on, you could always just kind of eyeball it and put it in the middle of the rock, but it's the center of the snail shell is a very good spot. And you could also ward this bush from here. So you'd walk into the little crevice right here, normal cast the ward, and the moment it goes green, see right there? It's the moment it swaps from there to there, cast, and it's going to go in the bush. Another spot is from both bot and top lane would be warding the brush from your lane. So for the bot lane, this one's very, very easy. You're just going to walk in a little crevice here. You're going to normal cast your ward in the middle of this waterfall, right by the rock here, and it's going to go to the bush. There's a lot of wiggle room for this one. You can cast it here. There's so much wiggle room. It's a very simple ward to do. The top side is where this ward's very, very finicky. So what you want to do is walk yourself into this little crevice here. You'll watch your character model move. See how it walks closer to the wall here? Like, see how I'm on the wall here? And then see how it moved a little bit closer right there? The way I do this is I hit spacebar to lock my camera on me. So it's a very, very easy ward to line up. And then I normal cast my ward at the edge of this little branch right here. So zoom out, right at the edge of this branch. And boom, it's going to go to that bush. That's the easiest way to do it in my opinion. So you walk, see your body walk over a little bit, snap into the wall a little bit closer, just like that. And then on the edge of the bush. There's also other spots in the jungle. So what most people do is when they're warding this bush over the wall here, they'll just cast it here. And there's a problem with that because you don't have very much vision over here. So what you actually want to do is cast it at the base of this tree here. So you see this tree right here? One tier down, like if you can kind of see the branches in the tree, there's like one tier here, one tier here, here. You're going to cast it at the tier... Oof. I'm messing that up. Oops. It should be right here. There we go. Right in this little crevice right here. And you can see now that gives vision closer to the edge here. So if there was a champion trying to sneak by here, this would see it. And then for the other side... Most people cast it like this, and it doesn't see over here. This one's much easier. You just want to cast it on these little red dots here. And then it gets the extra vision over to here, so you can actually see people walking through this area. Another spot would be on the towers. So for both towers, this one I hit spacebar, lock my camera on myself, cast it at max range along the base of this tree, the base branch. And that'll go there. And similar to this side, you're going to walk yourself in between the tower here, and you're going to cast it at the tip of this tree. And then that gives good vision there. If you just kind of cast it on the wall, You could potentially get it there and not be in the bush. Like that, I can kind of just try to randomly cast it over the wall. The tip of the tree is generally the best. Consistency is good there. So for dot bush on both sides of the map, so I'm going to show you this. If I cast a dummy here, if I ward this bush, just kind of in the middle, just casually, I can't see someone if they hug the wall. They can actually hug this wall and hook right in here, and you wouldn't see them enter the bush. So if I'm here, this is my side of the map, enemy jungler hugs this side of the wall, even though that's warded, it looks like it covers the area, it doesn't. So what you always want to do to the dot bush is cast it, normal cast it, and place it on the edge of this side. So see, now this ward can see that dummy, and you cannot hug this wall. Same exact thing for this side. If I place a dummy here, if I just kind of cast it in the bush, back away, I don't have vision of that. You want to always normal cast, edge of the bush, even with control wards, everything. Edge of the bush. And then if he tried to walk, right now he's behind the wall, but if he tried to fully walk, so like if he tried to walk here. Wait, really? Did I just learn something? No matter how well you ward this, can you not see that? Can we see me cast a dummy here? Dummy, oops. Huh. Okay. I actually learned something. No matter how close to the edge of this bush you place it, you cannot see there. Let me clear this again, see the most spot that I come out if I click right here. Looks like it's right here. I cast that directly on my feet. Yeah. That's kind of crazy. I didn't actually know that until right now. Okay, back to another thing over here. Whenever you're warding anywhere, if you normal cast your ward, you can see a giant ring around the ward. So that's the entire area that it's going to have vision of. This is predominantly for control wards, knowing what area you're going to be covering. So, for example, most people will control ward the edge of this bush. If they're smart, they'll ward the edge of this bush. Or they'll control ward the edge of this bush. And there's actually a really small area. So if I put my cursor there, and I walk here, put my cursor there, there's actually a small dead zone right here. This works for both sides. That this is where you generally want to ward raptors. Because a lot of people will just kind of ward here, they'll ward here, or they'll just kind of ward loosely there. So if either of these bushes are control ward, your ward's screwed. What you want to do is you want to ward always in between here. There's a little bit of a dead zone right here. No matter how well they control ward either of those bushes, it won't see it. Obviously, if they sweep, they'll see it. And the same thing works for this side. This side's a little more lenient. So if I regular ward here, edge of the bush, control, imagine that's a control ward. It sees up to here. And that one will see up to here. A dead zone right along here. So you always want to cast your wards there. And see what that looks like when I remove those two wards. And that's the kind of vision you'll have. Full vision of the entire area there. And then it will be outside of both of those control wards area. So I'm going to show you the hardest ward in all of League of Legends. You can ward this bush from here. So the easiest way to do it is kind of line yourself up with these two trees and you'll clip into the wall a little bit. So see right here. My character's clipped into the wall a little bit, like half my leg is gone. And then what you're going to do is you're going to normal cast your ward, and you see these three dots right here. 1, 2, 3. You're going to place your ward at the top of this dot, the middle of this top dot here. And you'll see what that looks like when your cursor, when I'm normal casting my ward. If I put my cursor closer, 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 it swaps to yellow here, which means it's going to be cast in terrain, which means it's going to be pushed out to the nearest side of the wall. So if I have my cursor on that dot, right there, cast, and it'll clip into the wall and push it through to that spot. So again, you're going to back up here, you're going to go into the wall, clip yourself right in between these trees, cast your ward right on the dot, right the moment it switches, and boom. It's a hard ward because but once you learn how to line it up, you can do it pretty freaking quickly. So like if I'm here, I'm just kind of running around. Go, practiced it. You can even you can click here, and then line your cursor up while you're walking over. It's hard to see now that the wards are in the way. So I'm going to move the wards out of the way, because the wards were kind of blocking my vision of the dot. So you clip in as you wind up, boom, oof, I messed that up. That's what happens when you screw it up like that. It'll just go there. A lot of the time, though, it is also actually just kind of good to ward over the wall here, because then you can just hit the blast cone and stop a jungler gank. It's kind of specific. If you know the jungler is going to clear Grump, that's when you generally want to ward that spot. So boom, right there, and cast. Generally, you want to ward there if you know the jungler started top side, for example, and you're worried about a lane gank. Like, let's say you know the jungler is clearing their bot side, and your wave is getting shoved into you. Like, let's say you're right here. You just crash the wave to tower, for example. You know the jungler is coming from base to their blue side jungle because they just cleared red, or let's say your jungler just kind of jungled their red side, and then you want to know if they're going to be coming bot lane. So what you can always do is regular ward that bush, and then either control ward here or control ward the edge of tri-bush. And always when you're warding, I don't need any more control wards. And always when you're warding tri-bush, if this is your side of the map, try to make it a little more awkward for them to place. Most people know this. You place it on this side of the wall, so if they want to clear this, they'd have to walk all the way up into the bush here to hit this ward, instead of casting it like here, where if they have a ward in the bush, they can just hit it from here. You want them to be much more in a precarious situation, so it's much more difficult for them to kind of hit that ward. Another couple spots is if you ever have invaded and you're worried about your jungle being invaded, but you don't want to face check any of this, you can just ward this push over the wall here. Simple. Same thing on both sides. Over the wall. You'll know if they're there. So if like it's you come down from top lane here, you come down this way, you loop here, you go into Krugs, ward over the wall, instead of having to like walk through here, face check all of this, and potentially die there to get like a ward there or to get a ward there or something. It's fine to just get the vision here. You'll see them. Again, for warding bushes, always normal cast your ward when you're casting into a bush. I have it quick cast by default for if you're ever fighting. You want to get that ward down quick. Like, let's say if I'm fighting here and someone's going to the bush, I just want to be able to ward it quick. I have my regular cast ward, though, set up that I'm very comfortable using. So whenever you're trying to ward, always ward the edge of the brush. It gets you just that little bit more vision. So if I'm control warding this bush here, if you cast it just on the edge, you can actually see up to here. So if someone control warded, for example, here, this ward can see it. But if you cast it in the bush here, it won't be able to see it. You can even see up to here, I'm pretty sure. It's like right up to around here. You'll be able to see for clearing vision. This matters for every single bush. You're always getting that little bit of extra vision. And a couple ward spots that people will never really check. Obviously, like, if they're sweeping around, even then, people don't generally sweep very often. Like, here's a very common ward, these are very common wards, this is a very common ward. One you could do right here. Let me just double ward over here so I can only see the vision of that one. So if you ward like that, you can still see the entire rotation. Like, if the jungler is going from wolves to blue Grump, you'll see it. If the jungler is going to mid lane gank, you'll see it. If they blast cone, you'll see it. The only way you won't see is if they're coming from base or coming from bot lane in here. Which, if you have good enough map awareness, they're generally going to be going this way. They're generally going to be clearing wolves before blue Grump most of the time. So they'll generally be walking this way. Same thing for this side. Common ward here, common ward here. You ward in this little pocket right over here. Let me teleport over there. See them coming from wolves, and see them going for a mid lane gank through here. Or blast cutting. If you guys enjoyed this kind of video, let me know. I can also show flash spots or just kind of little tricky things you can do. Like, for example, you can get between these two towers with any dash champion or flash champion. The outer towers. You kind of line it up with the ground here. And you put your cursor here. So you walk here a little bit extra. And you put your cursor here and flash. And you can always get through this. Same thing with this side. You put your cursor here. Walk a little bit extra. Line it up with that and flash. And then for this side, for example, you'd put your cursor here. On this little dot here on the ground. Flash. And for here, you'd put it here. You can do this for everywhere. You can do this for this. These ones are very hard. The inner tower and inner tower is very hard. The outer tower and inner tower is pretty easy. You can LeBlanc dash through here. You can Ezreal E. Also, the tower range is based off your champion model size. So, for example, Teemo, I'm pretty sure can just walk straight through here without getting a tower shot. The best you can do on Victor, LeBlanc, or kind of regular size champions is going to take one tower shot, where you just kind of hug that wall. And then if you're here, you'd hug here, hug that way, and then go that way. I can show you a bunch of other little tips and trick things on the map. Let me know if you guys want to see that. If you guys did enjoy this video, please give a like, subscribe. I'm probably going to be doing a video very, very soon on items for all the new items from the new season for Victor, and which seems like the best mathematically. Hope you guys enjoy this. Hope you guys will enjoy that as well. Thank you for watching. See you next time.